Good afternoon. My name is Jen Potter, and I am the host of Networking Now. We love to talk about all things network and all things business. Today, I'm joined by Fiona Robinson. She is the business whisperer. And when talking to her, I realized that the universe is amazing and brought her to me for a reason. All of the things such as, listening to yourself, your soul purpose. I'm a big believer that, if you listen, everything is right there in front of you. And so, Fiona, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. I'm absolutely stoked to be here. It's great to be talking to another person who believes in the universe and why we're all here, and that our business was handed to us and we're here for a bigger purpose. So thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. So, I've read a lot about what you do, but I'd love for you to tell our audience about what it is that you do and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, that's a big question, how I got to where I am today. I suppose I could go back and just kind of say that even though I was already sort of doing Reiki, I was understanding things like that, I was open up to those, meditations. I was going through a separation, one of 4 in my life, and I was in this other house that I had, and I was running the business because that was my baby. And then I woke up with this voice, this very loud voice in my head that said, do you want to be doing this in 5 years' time? And my immediate answer was no, which really surprised me because I'd been hanging on to this baby for dear life. And then it asked me again, do you want to be doing this in 3 years' time? And I went, no. And then it just changed the whole trajectory of my life. And I didn't know where I was going, but I just decided I was going to follow my guidance. I ended up selling my £1 million business in the UK, going traveling for a year, moving to France and having my kids in France. And this all started when I was 40.
I feel like you just spoke to my soul. Because right before the show started, I told you about something personal that I have going on with my health. And I woke up yesterday. I feel like I'm going to cry. No one's on the show has seen me cry. I woke up yesterday morning with something very similar. And it took me by surprise. And I told you before this started, I said, there's a reason why we're supposed to connect. And, some people will listen to this and be like, that's something else. And other people will listen and be like, okay, I understand. And anyone who knows me knows that, I'm a big believer in the universe. I'm a big believer that if you start to listen to that inner voice, your life changes. And you're a prime example. When you were 40, you listened and your life changed and it brought you to where you are today. And so, and now that you're saying that, I said this before the show, so I'm going to connect it all. There was a purpose. I told you that I needed to listen, and you literally just said it. You said you listened. And so I'm going to take that advice. So I look forward to, our future conversation to say, hey, I listened, this is where I am. So thank you. And, when I introduced you as the business whisperer. And so if you want to tell us, what does that mean? So if someone hears you're the business whisperer, I mean, the hippie side of me, I'm like, I know what that means. But what does that mean to everybody else?
Okay, what is a business whisperer? Or what am I as a business whisperer? Previously, I called myself the body whisperer because when I was dealing with people to do with detox and their health and everything, I could feel what was going on in their body to do with the stories that they were telling themselves. That when I listen into your business, or let me go back a bit. When I was asked, told, heard, do business readings, I was talking to a woman in Australia, and she had a large group. We were all practicing doing videos and those kind of things. This was years ago. And I just went out of the blue, through my mouth came, I want to do business readings for the people in your group. And I was shocked because I was like, I don't do that. So when we came off and she said, yes, go for it. I was arguing with my intuition, my guidance, going, well, I don't do that. And all I got back was, it's not you that does them, to stand out of the way. So I've had to stand out of the way. And when I stand out of the way, step out of the way, I get into the zone. Everything about me melts away. There's no ego. There's no agenda. I'm able to listen. And I do that for people. I read into people's businesses. I read into people's situations. What's the hidden dynamic in their business? Why is it not working? And I absolutely love doing it. If you can imagine also listening into the soul of your clients to find out what it is that they would love to, put it bluntly, buy from you or have from you, because this is your purpose. But the dragons, I mean, sorry, I have to say this. My guides are dragons. I've discovered through the years that they're dragons, the voices that were coming through. And they're the most powerful guides that I can attest to how they bring in the information, the inspirations, the ideas. They allow me to see with new eyes and hear with new ears. And, you know, other people will use angels. Other people will use different kind of guides. But these are my guides, and that's what resonates with me.
I love that. And I love, you know, that you own that and you feel that and you're able to listen to that, which helps to guide it, not just guides you, but it's what guides everybody else around you, and you're able to tap into a completely different insight. And so I personally think you have a very, it's unique, but also to me, I'm like, yeah, that's my normal, you know, like, and that's something that, you know, is so interesting to me. When you meet other people, I'm sure you come across people who are skeptical. And
well, actually, I don't. It's only my family who are skeptical.
oh, I feel like family is always the first people to be skeptical.
They're the first person you have to get past, like, oh, I actually speak to dragons. Oh, well, that's a very clever marketing ploy, Fiona. You know, but I know I actually really do. And I'm just, oh, I'm just not going to talk about that anymore. That's fine. But I do, you know, and they you know, that's whatever. That's their, but they're not on the same path as me. I've always known since I was little that I grew up with 3 witches in my bedroom. I just knew. But my point is that everyone is intuitive, has feminine intuition, has gut instincts, and you can access those. And I teach people how they can get into that really, really quickly. And then you start building evidence, start building trust, and then you're on your way. Then you start listening to the information that comes through for yourself. You've got to trust yourself. And even when I started, you know, you heard me argue. Well, I don't do that. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a medium. Like, who do I think I am to do that? Because so we argue. The flesh and the bones argue with the spirit and information that comes through. And I help you to see that it's okay. Let's just calm down, find our safe place. Let's remember all the stuff that has happened for you. And then we move on from there. And then we allow you to sort of go in and hear what your business wants to say to you, or the dynamics of your relationship, or how to win that game of Monopoly with your kids, or the funny things that I do. You know that game when they put the name of a character across your face? And so we were playing this game, and you know, I had another family there as well. And after, you know, is it an actress? Is it a singer? Is it a female? Is it a male? You know, all the questions that you go through. And I was like, I'm getting bored of this now. Can you just show me who I am? And I didn't even know I could do that. So I'm like, oh, right, okay. Oh, interesting. Oh, it's a woman. She's got dark hair. She's got earmuffs on. No, they're not earmuffs. They're pigtails plaited around her ears. Oh, that's weird. Oh, white dress. Oh, I know who she is. I know who she is. Can't think of a name. It's nearly my go. Who is she? What's her name? And I got Princess Leia. So the next time I get to go in my round in this game that we're playing, I went, am I Princess Leia? Oh, God, Mum, I'm never playing with you again. You're such a cheat.
You're like, am I cheating, or can I just feel
am I though? And I say, am I though? Because I'm actually just teaching you what is possible. And I do that now with my boys. I've done it since they were small. And they're now 18 and 20. And I want to write a book about that as well, how to keep the soul integrated, how to do that. I mean, my son has had things written on the wall. My other son's spoken to a tree, you know. So so much magic is possible. And that's what I want to let everybody know. So thank you for asking me, because it lights me up.
And I love that. And like, I feel like I'm just so into listening to you talk about it, because to me, it's something that I always find I find it interesting, but it's also because I truly believe it exists. And, you know, I do something very different, but also very similar on the same type of path, like where I teach people how to listen to that inner voice. And that's part of my gift. My gift is getting people to listen to themselves. Right. So, you know, their inner dialogue and trusting that, and trusting the voice in the head, right? The conversation, that dialogue that you're having, and getting people to trust that, because for most of our lives we were taught to not listen to that. And I think instinctually, if you start to really listen, like you said, everybody can tap into that. The universe is an amazing thing. And, when you take it to a molecular level of how interesting it is, I feel like that's where the magic exists. Like, I am a wicked big science nerd. So all of that to me is like, oh, this is so amazing. People are like, you're nuts. And I'm like, yes, I am, but I'm okay with it. And everyone else can just do their own thing. And so like, I find that to just be such a beautiful thing. And so when you're doing, your business and getting yourself out there. And, I've said this to you at the beginning, because it's something that I always like to talk about. How do you market and network your business?
In various different ways. So sometimes I'll wait for information to come through. So I was given some messages to pass through, which I eventually made into oracle cards. They are dragon oracle cards. And I said, so what do you want me to do with them? And they said, well, just go live every single week. Okay, fine. So that's what I do in my group, and the group has grown. And then I offer readings in other people's groups. So that just keeps on growing and just mingling out. And, the reading is just an entry point as to like, oh, that's what I'm here for. And sometimes the business downloads so much because it hasn't been spoken to before. It's just like, oh, finally somebody's listening. And it starts giving so much information. And I often say, you've got to build a relationship with your business. You've got to build a relationship with your soul. Otherwise, it's just Harry Potter stuffed under the stairs, and all that magic's going to waste.
Right.
Yeah. Networking through groups, networking through podcasts, through opportunities to talk about it. But I am also asking, like, where would be please show me. I don't know how to do this. Please show me how, would be one of the questions I ask.
I like that. I like that a lot. And I'm just so intrigued. And so you talked about, I want to go back to this just because I'm intrigued by this, the dragon cards. And, I know, because I have all the information in front of me, that I can purchase the cards myself. But if there was someone who wanted to have the readings done or wanted to have it done in a group setting, business setting, you do things like that as well.
Yeah. I have a course that runs alongside, which is called Manifest with the Dragon's Guidance. And it goes through the steps and the processes that the dragons have downloaded for me. In other words, you are operating, it's the owner and operator's guide to your human.
I like that.
The dragons are basically here as guides, any guides that are coming through to anyone. How can we navigate our way through the hurdles that we have in our life so that we can break the spell that we're under, so that we can see beyond the illusion, so that we can know how powerful we are, and we can actually create our own future. So these are all the things and all the steps that the dragons have shown me. And they're like, just shut the books, stop trying to learn, stop reading, and start doing this. They're like, stop trying to listen to what someone else has done, and start finding out what you're here to do, and actually start doing it, because we waste so much time going, yeah, but I don't think I'm good enough. So I help people with some of the work that the dragons have shown me as well, how to step out of that way as well, because we've got these hidden dynamics that go on. We all have them. And, even mine come up every now and again. I'm like, oh, what is that? What is that? Or I know what that is. And then I just have to go through the process. And when you go through the process, it's coming to the surface. Whenever you're up leveling, you get anxious about something. You're only getting anxious because it's unknown territory. And right. It's so normal. It's like I will get anxious to the rest of my life because I refuse to stay where I am. I want to know what the full potential of this life is.
I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. And, there's so much beyond us, and there's so much in front of us. And I'm going to tell you something really crazy. You're not going to think this is crazy, but again, I'm a big believer in the universe. I've had something sitting in front of me since my birthday. My daughter gave me something, and it's a dragon. She gave it to me for my birthday, my 41st birthday. It's been sitting in front of me for every single day since April. And it never actually, nothing ever clicked and nothing ever was there. And I looked up just now while you were talking and you were talking about this and your purpose. And I was like, holy shit, there's a dragon in front of me. So the universe is a very powerful and amazing thing. And I think when we start to listen and tap into it and connect with people who have a higher connection, I feel like our lives change. And, you know, you said it when you turn 40. And for me, it was when I turned 40, I felt like my life changed. And I always used to think when I was younger, I was like, oh, you know, they're older, they're wiser. And people will say someday you'll understand. And it, you know, it was as I started going through my path and I was like, oh, once I start listening, things change. Things change when you really start listening. And even myself this past week, the universe is like, Jen, when are you going to listen? With the things that I'm personally working on. So this is the universal sign to anyone who's listening to this today, that just to listen. And someone's going to hear something, they're going to be skeptical, but it's going to resonate somewhere, even if it's 5 years from now, right? But I obviously could talk to you forever. But could you tell everyone how they can get a hold of you? How, if they're interested in connecting, learning more, how do they reach out to you?
I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I've been doing funny little things on TikTok. So I have a website, fionarobinson.co, which is in the process of being updated. Of course, it's always, because we're always evolving. And the dragon cards are on Amazon. And I did my business readings and things are on my website. So they go through like business reading, and I've got a 75% offer at the moment just for October, so that you can actually just really taste into it. It's a 3-part reading. So I do the reading, I video myself doing it, and then we have a video meetup so that you can actually ask any questions that are pertaining to that particular reading. And maybe you want to meet your business, meet the spirit of your business. Maybe you want to ask more questions, and then we just move on forward from there. But I think I'm everywhere, but I'm not everywhere really. I'm on YouTube as well, but
you're everywhere.
I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere and nowhere, baby. If that's you know that song.
I feel the same way sometimes. Well, it was a pleasure having you on today. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about all of the amazing things that you're working on. And I look forward to having you on again in the future. And we're going to have a conversation beyond this, but I look forward to saying, you know, in a year from now, this is where I was after this conversation.
It's always a good reflection when you look back on your old YouTube things and kind of go, wow.
I can't wait. So thank you for that. I hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you very much as well for having me and asking me awesome questions. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.